Hello, everyone. Aquarian Humanitarian here. I apologize again for not having my camera on, but the show must go on. If you're new to this channel, we have been putting out self-development videos related to mental health, consciousness, our soul missions, and purpose that would help you ascend to the new earth. So our topic today is soul contracts. And what is the ultimate goal before we leave this lifetime? So we're not wandering around wasting time. Okay. So with that said, I want to welcome Sir Tato Malay, the founder of the I Am Kamalayan Movement. Kamalayan means consciousness. Welcome, Sir Tato, and thank you for being here
Hello,
and to share your wisdom.
hello again, and I'm happy to be with you again since the time when we started all these episodes. So, what are we going to now talk about today? Because practically we've been discussing a lot of things. What do you think people need to listen to now or hear, especially in this day and age?
Yes. So not a lot of people are aware that they chose their parents, their siblings. So why don't we start with that?
Wow, I've been telling people that uh, we actually selected or chose our parents before we were born, and that's what they cannot understand. What do you mean? I was able to choose my parents already when I was not still born, when I was still I would say a spirit or whatever. So how can that happen? And so this is where we really need to explain exactly exactly who we are. We are not really just human beings. We are not just physical beings. We are spiritual beings at the same time. So the moment we enter Earth, we assume a body. That's what the soul actually gets into experience. So before that, it was really a spirit. But when it came to Earth through another body or soul who accepted that spirit to be born into it, I'm referring to the mother. So practically, that is the time that we are able now to really say that we did not actually come here to Earth by chance or by accident. We planned everything beforehand. There are no accidents. That's why we cannot say everything is just actually up for grabs here in this world, in this particular time that we're living in. You know, you came here for a purpose. You chose your parents. There are reasons why you chose your parents, why you chose to be born in the Philippines, in the country you are born in. If you're not from the Philippines, if you're listening from another country, why did you choose to be born in that particular country and to that particular parent or mother? So everything was planned before. And why do you have to plan? Who actually do we get to talk to before we actually get to come here on Earth? How do we make this plan elsewhere? All right. So open up your minds. I hope you will not actually just ignore us because this is something that you need to really learn at this time in this day and age. All right. Before we came here, we were somewhere. Maybe some of you will think we were in heaven or in another there at that particular moment.
I lost you
And
for a
then,
second.
what do you mean? You lost my voice? You lost my video?
Yeah, like I lost your video for a second. So you might have to rewind my maybe like few seconds.
All right. Anyway, so again, going back, as I've said, before we came here to Earth, we were somewhere else. Some of you might think that we were in heaven, which is okay naman yun. Because everything naman is heavenly in terms of where we are. We never actually left heaven. Even if we are here on earth, we're still living in heaven because we're actually spiritual beings. So we never left heaven at all. It's just that we occupy another place, but that heaven is still within us. We carry it with us every time. Anyway, before before we get that before we get to that point again, the question that I raised, was how did we actually plan everything before we came here to Earth? What did we do? Who did we plan everything with? Did we have mentors, authority, other authorities that we got to talk to who would advise us as to what we will do? I would say yes. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you have seen the animated movie called or entitled The Soul.
I was going to mention
Have
that.
you seen? Have you mentioned? I mean, have you seen that? Okay, so you've seen that, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
All right, because you know every soul actually would prepare to come here on earth. Not everyone, not every soul can really just be accommodated here on earth because, as I've said, everything is planned. So you have to choose who you are going to be born into, the kind of family, the kind of community, the kind of background that you would want to have. Because at a particular point in time, we are already or we have already evolved into something else. So that means we cannot go back to the past, to the kind of lifestyle we had before. So since we have evolved, you want to now experience more or to learn more things in this particular lifetime that we would want to get into. So we had to prepare, we had to select if that parent is already available. Because in the first place, when we choose a parent or the parents that we are going to be born into, it's not at random that we choose them. We don't we cannot say that we don't know them at all before we can actually be born into them. We actually already knew who our parents are because we made a contract with them. We said before we incarnated here in this world, we said, all right, I will be born. I will go back to earth. I will be born into your, I would say, a community. So I would like you to be my mother this time, or to be my father, or both. Or sometimes, maybe beforehand, we were actually playing opposite roles. We were the parent then, and then our uh, mother who's going, the one who is going to be our mother, maybe used to be our child before. So it was a reversal of roles to be able to just experience again things that we never had experienced. But again, as what I've always remembered, we already knew them. We were practically together in a particular lifetime. So there is a continuation involved here in a way. So again, as I've said, we chose our parents for a reason, and whatever that reason is, we practically prepared for it beforehand, and you know, parang we were guided in such a way that it was really that thing that we really wanted to experience and who to experience it with. the parents. I mean, because we have to be first born into a parent before we get into our siblings. So, and before we actually interact with other people, it's practically it's uh, our parent that we need to define at once who will that be. Okay, so I think I have explained so much about that particular aspect. Now the next thing that I would want now to act to to explain here is, okay, when we get to be born, it's not only our parent that we are going to interact with, because as we grow older, as a child, as a teenager, as an adult, as a mature person, we will get to meet a lot of other people who we will be interacting with. Maybe the person we will marry, if we will get married, the children you will have as well. So all those things will be previously planned already. So you can call it destiny, but it's not exactly destiny because you still are in charge. You can still change whatever you want to change. But as I've said, you already had a plan. All right. Now, the thing here is, when we were born, we forgot about our plan. Everything was erased from our mind. So we didn't know, we don't remember who we are. We don't know why we are here in this particular place. So practic- so whatever is going on is something that we never knew, or at the moment are we are not aware of, rather. So what happens next? So we grow, we were conditioned, we were programmed by our parents. All right? Our parents, in a way, already was preparing for our coming, but they forgot also why we chose them. So again, the way they brought us up, they programmed us, taught us everything according to what they have learned in this lifetime. So we just accepted everything that we were being taught. I mean, we were given instructions at that moment. So we accepted everything while we were growing up. We never questioned until there came a point in our life where we started asking questions. Why am I not happy in this particular thing that I'm doing? Is there something wrong that happened? Is there something that I need to find out? That's the time we need to now explore the past. We are now um, going to remember again everything. We don't really need to learn any new thing at this point in time. We just have to remember who we are, why we came here in this world, what was our soul contract, and how do you know about? How do we find about, or what can we now actually say so we can uh, define that soul contract that we needed to experience or to live as a human being. I mean, in accordance to what we agreed upon. All right. This is where I discovered that I needed to know who I am in the first place. So I went back to a lot of things that I needed to find out, which I didn't learn from my parents. The only things that I learned from my parents was my family name, my name, my birthday, the place I was where we were living, the school they made me enroll into. So those are the only things that, that those were the only data available to me at that particular moment that I was aware of, basing it from everything that they taught me. Now the thing here is, why did I say earlier that there were some things that didn't make me happy, or that was not making me happy at all, and that was an eye opener for me. If I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, what am I supposed to be doing in this particular time? And that was where I was guided. It's a good thing I started asking questions during those times, because otherwise I would have actually be able, I mean, I would I would live a life of what, trying to just earn a lot of money, to marry someone, to have a family, because that was what was taught to us. You have to work to earn a living, have a family, and then grow that family, and then retire, and then die. Sabi ko, is that all? Is that is that what I'm just supposed to be doing here on earth? And I started doing them. I I earned a lot of money. I I did a lot of work that I found interesting at that time, but afterwards I found them boring, so I got out. And then that was another instance when I started really searching for who I am, because my work, the money I was earning, the things I was experiencing, although they made me happy at a particular moment, I enjoyed everything. I had the best time of my life. I I dated a lot of girls. I wanted to marry some of them, but it never reached that particular point when I was really supposed to marry anyone. But I had plans. Now the thing here was what actually happened to me when I started asking questions. Even the religion I was in, I thought that was the religion that was really the best for me. And then somehow I turned away from my beliefs. So I started again asking questions. Who am I? I took up some personality tests to really discover my personality, because maybe that could give me the clue as to what would make me happy. And somehow it did actually make make me understand who I am. Why am I doing these things? Because I was really cut out. My personality was cut out for a particular, I would say, endeavor or a job. But again, I since I was asking a lot of questions already about not only my my personality, but the origin of who I am, because I couldn't accept the fact that they said that we came from the apes, from animals. So I said, I don't think I can believe that. So if I can't believe it, who, where did I really come from? So I started asking more questions along that line. And that was when I was able to discover what we call now that soul contract. We did not come here by accident. We planned everything. So when I learned about that, I asked myself, what were my reasons to come here? What was my purpose? What was my soul contract? And that was explained to me by my guides because I couldn't get the answers from priests, from pastors, from whoever, psychologists, psychiatrists, all these people. They couldn't give me any definite answer as to the questions I was asking. And so I said, okay, if I can get it from them, maybe I can get it from somewhere else. And true enough, I got it from downloads from my spirit guides. Because if I am a spiritual being, I knew I had an angel. That's what I learned in religion. So I asked my angels, hello, guardian angel, why are you guarding? Why are you here to guard me? For what purpose? For just to keep me away from accidents? Or maybe for a deeper reason? And I discovered a deeper reason. He said, we are here to guide you, for you not to get lost along your way as to how to enact or to live your life purpose here on earth, your soul contract. So I said, okay, first things I asked, if I chose my parents, why did I chose them in the first place? And then I got answers from them. Look, who are your parents? What what is their background? Is there anything that you can find common with them in terms of who they are? Well, I told myself, my parents, my 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 mother is an educator, a nurse. Um, my uncles and aunties are some of them are lawyers, some of them are journalists. So what else do I need to know about the background or the commonality I have with them? All right. Don't don't you see yourself? I was given that question. Don't you see yourself being or doing the same things they are doing now? I said no. I don't think I will be a journalist. But now it's funny. At this particular time of my life, I found myself being a columnist in one of the newspapers that are now I'm writing for now. Why so late in my life? Because during that time, my uncles and my aunties were actually very prominent journalists. They were very popular. They were well read by people. And I said, I cannot compete with them. I mean, I will just be compared to them. I will suffer from comparison. So I might not like to be one, like to be like them, because I will not be happy being compared to them because they're so perfect in what they're doing. All right. So what else? Being a teacher. Oh, definitely I will not be a teacher. I told myself. I saw my mom suffer. I mean, from her job because she didn't have time. She didn't have time for herself. I mean, imagine even in occasions like Christmas or vacations, she was still computing grades, correcting papers. She was still busy at home, and even I would ask us, my father and me, to help her correct papers, test papers. I said, this is a very boring task or a job that I cannot imagine myself that I'd be doing. So I said, no, no, I don't think I can find any commonality with that. But lo and behold, even my mother was shocked when she found out that I was teaching in an exclusive school for girls and in a university of that without the proper credentials because I never graduated from college because I had two subjects that were not, I mean, they did not uh, allow me to continue while I was in college because I was the only student who would take it up. And we were waiting for other students to enroll, but it seems that there was no one else who will enroll. And I said, if this thing will continue, I will end up in college, maybe staying here in for around 7 more years, which I took up a 4 year course, and then I'm already on my 5th year, and I was going to my 6th year. I said, no, I cannot anymore see myself continuing my stay here in college if that's the only problem I have, because I cannot graduate because of the two subjects that are not going to be completing my course. And so I said, I will stop from studying. And my parents didn't know that I quit school. I told them I graduated already. It's just that I didn't join the graduation march. And so they believed me. So they thought I graduated because I overstayed already in college. And so I applied for jobs. And so I was able naman to get jobs as well. But again, that's another story. Now, the thing is, everything that I did, uh, I thought I would not do it. I mean, I will not enjoy doing them because I said I don't see myself really capable of doing such, like teaching and writing. But I ended up now as a columnist and as a teacher for 18 years in college. I taught in Assumption College for 18 years until I finally said to myself as well, all right, I think I've given enough time for this kind of a job. I need to do something else. I need to teach what I want to really teach because the thing that I wanted to teach, I couldn't teach it in school, which was consciousness. So I said, I will teach consciousness outside. So that's the time I started teaching Kamalayan outside the schools. Okay. So again, the question here now was, all right. So basing it from what I had shared, don't you see now your soul contract, why you chose your parents? Because you have the same or the common things that they're doing. I said, okay, I understand now. Maybe I can consider that as an explanation why I chose them. But again, there are still some questions why I would still need answers regarding why I chose them. Because in a regression I had, I discovered that I was a bishop in France. So again, as I've said, is there any inkling or any link for my lifetime as a bishop in France in the past? And then I discovered my mother and the brother of my mother, they speak French. As a matter of fact, my uncle, who was also a journalist at the same time, he was the head of Alliance Française, or no, I'm sorry, he was the head of Agence France Presse, French news agency. All right. And my other uncles, I mean my cousins, on my father's side, also speak French. And one of them even married a French woman. But I said, all right, I don't think I really enjoy anything that has to do with France. I don't see myself really enjoying or really, for example, if I would go to a place in Europe, I won't consider France as my destination. I would consider Italy as my more of a place where I would feel at home. And then that was when I discovered that I wasn't a French bishop in France. I was an Italian bishop in France, based in France. All right, straight from the Vatican, Italian bishop. So, you know, what is the proof that I was really Italian? Well, don't you see it in your home? I mean, don't you, aside from the French community that you already have, the French connection, that was when I discovered that my parents, my father, my uncles, played a musical instrument that is popular in Europe, especially in Italy and France. And that was the accordion. Accordion. I mean, sabi ko nga, I grew up with that kind of music played from the accordion music because my father really played the accordion every day. And my uncles also, every time we had a party, the two of them would get together. Both of them would play the accordion and some would play the guitars. Ako naman, I played the piano. And we would have a band together. So, yeah, I think, okay, the French connection is there. So what does it have? What does all this in terms of knowing that I was an Italian bishop in France and the French background of uh, my 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 uncles and aunties, and said, all right. So now you were born into a community, into a family that exactly uh, the reason why you chose them because you had something in common. You lived together before already at one time or the other in another lifetime that maybe you were in either in Italy or in France. Even my uncle, another uncle of mine who speaks French, married someone who had Italian blood. So, yun na nga, nandun na lahat yung kwento. Okay, so that explains everything that I did was properly planned talaga. So, wala akong wala na akong excuse to say that I don't believe in soul contract. So, everyone in my family, my father's side and my mother's side, we agreed to be together in this particular lifetime. All right. Now, the thing here is, since they were writing, and I was also writing, and many of them were activists in terms of, well, anti-government, anti-Marcos during that time. I said, I cannot see myself doing that because I'm not someone who will fight against another. race or another group of people or another personality just because I hated their beliefs. All right. And then there was another download that happened to me. Yes, you are not going to be an activist, but you are going to start a revolution. Revolution of what? Revolution of consciousness. You need to be part of that revolution of consciousness. Okay, so now I get it. I get the picture. I am an activist, and I am fighting for this revolution. I am up against the old consciousness that we have been living in, the third dimensional consciousness. And so now I am encouraging everyone to evolve into a higher consciousness. So that was what I came here for. And then another download. Now, this is now something that many would find, uh, um, well, I would say, funny. But my being from another planet was something that I needed to imbibe in terms of who I am. I learned that I was from Lyra, the planet Lyra, the constellation Lyra, and I was a Lyrian. And what is a Lyrian? What do you call this? Being like, sabi ko nga, I don't I don't see myself being that. But lo and behold, the image of an alien that I wanted to need. I wanted to find out as to my particular race that I was part of in the past. I saw myself having a face of a lion. All right. So the feline actually image of who I am is something that I needed to accept. No, I'm not reptilian. No, I'm not Pleiadian. I am a lion. I come from the lion constellation. So again, my question was, all right, if I was a lion or a lion, so what's to actually tell me that I came here on Earth just because I am a lion? And then another download came. You are one of the first volunteers among the three waves of volunteers who came here to Earth to help evolve in the consciousness or evolution of consciousness of the people. All right. So, what's the lion connection to this? I, I mean, I was trying to pick. I was trying to, you know, put the dots together. And then I got another download that during the earlier times, or one of the most early times here on Earth, the planet was seeded by the Lyran civilization. So we were the first ones to come here on Earth to seed human beings into what we are now like. But we came from different alien civilizations. And the first civilization to seed us was the Lyran civilization. And so, okay, that makes sense now. All right. So now, since I got to really understand everything by me asking questions from everyone. And since the priest I was asking questions to and the pastors I needed to also learn about the Bible couldn't explain everything, I got the downloads from my extraterrestrial friends, beings as well. So now I got a clearer picture of who I am, why I am here on earth. Now the thing here is the question really now being asked by people is, all right, if I'm here because as I've said, as what you are telling us that there are no accidents in the universe. So why did I come here? So that's a question you need to also now ask yourself. Why did you come here? What is it that would make you happy? Remember, you are now experiencing something that is not positive. Many of us are complaining why our life is like this, why we are suffering. And so the proper question is, all right, if you are not anymore going to suffer, if you want to stop the suffering, what do you need to do to be able to choose something that you need to do that would take you out from this present suffering that you are now experiencing? You need to find out what makes you happy. And so, you know, exactly what are the things that would make us happy? Is it just money? That's why I am happy. I'm glad that I learned that money couldn't really make me happy at the end because I had a lot of money then, but I wasn't happy. I was just, you know, paying a lot of things for whatever experience I wanted to experience. But I did not find the real happiness by having a lot of money. So I asked that question again. If money cannot make me happy, what will make me happy? Love. All right, I had a lot of girlfriends. So I had a lot of relationships. It did make me happy as well. I thought they will make me happy. That's why dumami and dumami because I couldn't find it in one girl. So I had to now have another experience. And then later on, ang dami ko na pala ng relationship. And then something else um, showed me that, you know, there is something that we need to understand. If you will continue this, everything will just continue with you not being able to achieve happiness, doing the same things. And I said, okay, I will stop. So what do I need to now do? Okay, experience already everything. Now you know what will not make you happy. Now decide once and for all. What is it that can really now make you feel you will actually be happy doing this, even if you will not be paid or get paid by doing it? I said, well, helping people evolve to a higher level or to their full potential, I think that makes me happy. So parang that was the message I got. See, I mean, that's it. Do more of that, and that will actually make you happy. And that's exactly what I have been doing. Now, if you will not experience all these things that I have undergone already in the past, I would encourage you to still continue doing whatever it is that you're doing hanggang magsawa ka. Sige, pag nagsawa ka na, doon ka na magtatanong o babalik sa akin at sasabihin mo, okay, sige, pagod na ako. O sige, ano na talaga kailangan kong gawin. And so that's the time I will try to help you. Because if you will not ask for my help, I will not help you because you have your free will to do whatever you want to do. But since you will ask me to help you, well, that's the time I will really now give my time for you. So at this point, maybe I've already shared a lot of things about our soul contract. Now, the thing here is maybe many of us are not happy with our parents. Many of us would say, well, I chose them. If I chose them, why is it that I chose them? I don't think I would have chosen them in the first place if I actually knew that I was given that right or that power to choose. But again, as I've said, you chose them for a reason. Maybe they're not perfect, but you chose them. At that particular moment in time, they already are able to give everything that you need for you to exist in this world. And somehow you have to be thankful to them already. You cannot say your life with them was something that you cannot accept. But again, as I've said, you chose them. So you have to be thankful that they accepted you to come here on earth to be born, especially our mothers, because it was through our mother where we stayed long. I mean, 9 months to be inside, their tummy. And so we actually have more of a connection with our mother. So maybe you can add more to that. I will I will just continue later on. But you might want to say something to add more to what I have already explained. Oh, you have
So,
more questions.
yes, I want to go to, first, I want to mention that the other movie that they can look at or watch is Down to Earth. So, Soul is a Disney movie, and then Down to Earth is also, I mean, there's a lot of movies out there. They show us these things, and they tell us the truth from these through these movies, but we don't realize that that's the truth.
Yep.
Um, so the reason why you know, I just wanted to again reiterate this, and I mentioned this to Sir Tato earlier already, that the reason why we're having this discussion now is because this was the guidance that I got from meditation this morning, that we really need to guide people, help them understand why they are here and what is the end goal. The end goal is to return to source, to learn unconditional
Mhm.
love. Because when you understand that you have soul contract and there's a reason behind it, well, the reason being is because you wanted to experience whatever it is that you want to experience. So you had contracts with them, and whatever it is that your soul is needing to evolve. So that's why you go through challenges. And so a lot of times we people exit this lifetime, they die without forgiving the people who harmed them. And that's not good, because the consciousness at the end of that is very, very critical. And I'll talk about that later before we end this session, where I talk about the four types of people. But the consciousness, your consciousness is very critical before you end and exit here, because it continues
Mhm.
on. Okay, you never die, your consciousness continues, so it's very important.
Yeah,
So when you don't learn these things, what we're teaching you right now, you might exit this lifetime not forgiving the people who harmed you, because you were not understanding, or you're ignorant of the truth of the fact that you made contract with them for a reason, and they were just fulfilling the contract that they agreed with you. So it's hard for some people to comprehend this, but that's the truth. I mean, you
exactly.
made contract with them to experience whatever it is that you wanted to experience. You had some challenges, and those challenges are meant for you to evolve, to get to the next level. But some of you get stuck, not forgiving, and you have this victim mindset that you can't get out of all your life. Some people die not resolving that issue with their parents or with their siblings or whoever they made contract with. Again, it boils down to the consciousness at the end of your life here. Now, we're having this discussion because it's you know, we need you to understand and see bird's eye view on what the ultimate goal here is. Because if you don't know the ultimate goal, then you're going to be wondering all your life, right? Not knowing why you're here. So now it's time for you to really think about, like what Sir Tato said, there will come a point in time where you're going to question why you're here because you're not happy with whatever it is that you're experiencing. And that's when your spiritual awakening starts. That's when we start asking questions. That's when you're asking your guides to help you. By the way, not, you know, I know that some of you don't know that you have to ask your guide to help you because they're not going to interfere because of free will. So they're
Mm.
not gonna automatically rescue you, okay, unless it's emergency. But you have to invoke them. You have to get them involved. And this should be like a daily thing for you. Like you should always be asking for their guidance on what's the next step. Okay. So the other thing that I made a note on is, for this session, we must emphasize again that the kind of consciousness that you have at the end of your life here continues to the next life. So we must leave this life as light, not dark. Um, so that's the part that I wanted to mention right now before before I move to another topic. So, Sir Tato, if you wanted to add more in this soul contract topic, this is the time because my next topic would be another important topic, which
Okay,
is
I would just like to share a story of a woman who already had two children before she gave birth to the third one. But when the third one was born, she couldn't actually touch the baby. She couldn't hug the baby. She couldn't kiss her baby. Although previously with her other two children, there was no problem with them. But with the third one, she couldn't embrace, she couldn't touch, she couldn't even look at the baby. She was experiencing some sort of an anger, hurt, everything that actually are what's negative that you can feel she would experience with that baby. And so she asked for help. What's wrong? Why can't I actually love this third baby of mine? She went to a priest. She wasn't able to get the answer from the priest. She went to a psychiatrist or psychologist. Not also. No question. And then, all right, the last person she went to was someone who was into past life regression. And that was where she got the answer. And what was the answer? Your baby, the third baby now, is actually your father in your past life who abused you, who gave you a hard time when you were still a child, who molested you and everything. And somehow now that that the baby is born into you, you need to forgive because during that time she wasn't able to forgive her father at that particular lifetime they were together. Now the baby, in the form of the father who in the form of a baby now wanted to maybe apologize to her, whatever, and at the same time also the mother to forgive her father, who's poor baby at the moment. So these things happen. This is part of our soul contract. So ayan, ano yan, mabigat na issue. Pero it's a real true story.
So not a lot of people are familiar with past life regression, and some people don't even believe in past lives, right? So um but there's a lot of books out there, there's videos out there in YouTube that you can research about, but there's past life regression is very beneficial when you're going through self discovery, and
Mm.
when you're having emotional trauma or diseases and illnesses that your doctor cannot cure. Sometimes it has to do, and it's linked with your past life. So you might want to consider that. Um, and you have
That's
to
why,
be receptive
that's
to
why,
have that.
Anina, before I forget, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Mhm.
because you mentioned something like, do not exit this lifetime without forgiving your parents, because you might encounter them again in the future,
Exactly.
and maybe a reversal of roles. But
Hmm.
again, if you forgive them now, you don't need to actually experience that in the future. So at least tapos na. So that is where we really have to learn how to give unconditional love and forgiveness nga. Learn how to forgive. Okay, that's it. Well, for me, I think I've said a lot.
Okay. Um, the other thing that I wanted to mention is QHHT by Dolores Cannon.
Yep.
Um, past life regression is like it's a major component of QHHT, but
Mm.
they have a difference in
Hypnotist.
scope and method. So again, this is something that you might want to look into as you are trying to understand, um, you're going through self discovery and trying to understand why you're going through trauma, because you need to resolve that. You need to release that. You need to let that go, because if you don't, this is what happens. If you don't learn that lesson, if you did not forgive, if you did not release, if you did not let go, it's going to reoccur. It might not reoccur. You might not be able to fix this in this lifetime, but you're gonna have to experience that again, one way or another, in
Yeah,
another lifetime, until it's learned. That's how it works. And unfortunately,
exactly.
no one tells us this.
Yeah,
We
that
all have
religion,
to
even
figure it out.
religions don't talk about it.
Yes. So I personally didn't go through QHHT. The way I got through and learned the things that I learned is through meditation. So I practice Vipassana.
Actually, QH, I mean, the one of Dolores Cannon, I found out about that a long time ago because I used to read a lot of Dolores Cannon books. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
knew at a very early age where I was at the moment, because I was already exposed to those lessons that she wrote in her books. Yun nga, yung first wave of volunteers, second wave, yun na. Sabi ko, okay, now I'm part of it. All right, I am able to accept everything. So there's nothing in this world that is really not impossible. It's all possible. That's why we need to explore more of who we are, because we're not just human beings. We are spiritual beings at the same time, galactic beings at the same time also. And we are also God as we, the source. We are part of the source. So we cannot dispute, we cannot argue with that because it's a given to us. It's part of our DNA. So with that,
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you. I think we've gone over time already.
Um, I just wanted to make a brief addition on the solar flash. Do you have something to inform everyone about it before I do? I know you had
Yeah,
some
ikaw na,
experiences.
I think you're the best teacher on the solar flash.
Okay. Um, I have been diligently updating everyone about this because we're going through a cycle. We're gonna be going through a reset, a major one, and this major one happens every 25,720 years, every 25,720 years. So there will come a point where we may be we may lose power as we transition from the old
Mm.
system to the new system. So just be ready. Make sure that you have plenty of water, plenty of food. I mean, if you know me for years, I've been telling you this for many years ago. It somehow, eventually, it will happen. We just don't know the exact time. Um,
Well, it's happening already.
the solar flash are happening. It has been happening, but the big one
Yep,
is
yep,
going to happen where it's gonna knock everything out. Like
yeah.
there's no
So,
electricity, nothing like that. Because in order for us to move to the free energy, to in for the new technology, advanced technology that's hidden, be introduced to us, we need to move away from the current system, and the transition from old to new is gonna take. Imagine this is global change. So just be prepared. Make sure that you have enough food and water to last you for 10 days in case we
yeah,
lose power.
I do have
Um,
a lot of them.
yeah. So it will happen. We just don't know when. And this is not 10 years from now. This is in the next, maybe this year or next year. But definitely between now and 2030 is major time for that
Yeah.
transition. But I feel that this is gonna happen. I'm hoping it it happens this year actually, because I'm
Well,
tired of waiting.
many predictions already are lined up for 2026. As a matter of fact,
Yes,
disclosure will happen this year. Uh, what else? Basta maraming mangyayari this 2026. I mean, ito na yun.
this is
So exciting. This is the most exciting year so far for us, 2026.
yes. Yeah.
So
So
it's full of
what
chaos as well. Andyan lahat
yes.
yan. Sama-sama lahat yan. But again, it's going to change. Everything is changing.
Yeah, and this is the reason why we're having these weekly talks because we wanted to update everybody about what we know
Exactly.
because everything it's volatile, right? Because we're all creating realities. Imagine we're all each
Exactly.
one of us are creating a reality. So that's why I kept saying, and I sound like a broken record. I kept telling everybody,
No, but we
make
need to.
sure do you have positive attitude, make sure you're maintaining high vibration because you can dip in and out of high vibration. It takes practice, a
Mhm.
lot of practice to have an awareness and to stay balanced. Takes a lot of practice. I've been doing this for many years, but still sometimes I dip into the fear mode sometimes of the not knowing, right? But that's what we wanted to avoid. That's why we practice these things. So before, like I said, that's one of the things that I wanted to add in this session. Just be aware that that's out there. Be prepared. Don't panic. Have no fear. Everything's under control. This is already, to be honest, you've been through this before. You're not new to this. You just don't
Yep.
remember. We've gone through this many, many times before. So have no fear and don't panic. Don't dip into the lower vibration. All right. So the last thing
Um,
that I wanted to share is the Vipassana's teaching of four kinds of people because it's important that you understand this so you know where to align yourselves to, okay? Because if you don't understand this, then again you're going to be wandering around trying to figure out why you're here. So this is Vipassana teaching that I wanted to share. Our teacher name is S.N. Cuenca. So he's following the lineage of teacher Sayagi Ubakin. Um, and I'm just going to read this, okay? So, in the tradition of Esen Cuenca, following the lineage of Sayagi Uba Kin, there is a specific teaching based on Pugala Sutta regarding the four types of people in the world. This framework describes how an individual's current life circumstances, the way you enter here, and your current actions and volitions, your exit determines your spiritual trajectory. Okay. So the four types of people: one, from darkness to darkness. This refers to a person who is born into difficult or dark circumstances like poverty, ill health, or lack of wisdom. And they continue to act with negativity. They react to their misery with anger, hatred, and ill will, thereby creating more dark sankharas, which is dark mental conditioning. So you enter as darkness and then you exit as darkness. Okay, that's type one. Type two, from darkness to light. So this person is born into dark or challenging circumstances, but does not let their environment dictate their mental state. Instead of reacting with negativity, they develop wisdom. They practice Dhamma and maintain equanimity, a balanced mind. By doing so, they purify their mind and they move towards a brighter future. So you enter as darkness and then you exit as light, full of wisdom and purity. That's group number two. Group number three, from light to darkness. This person is born into light or favorable circumstances like wealth, beauty, success, due to past good karma. But they become intoxicated by it. They become arrogant, greedy, or cruel, using their high position to harm others or indulge in ego. They spend their old merits without creating new ones. So they enter as a light and then they exit as darkness, full of negativity and ego attachment. The fourth group, from light to light. This person is born into light circumstances and uses that foundation to deepen their practice. They recognize that their current success is a result of past efforts and use their resources to help others and further purify their mind. They maintain equanimity in both success and failure, moving towards total liberation. So they enter as light and they exit as light. So the core lesson is um, the central point Goenka emphasizes in this teaching is that the entry, which is your past, is not in your hands, but the exit, your present reaction is. And it says that Vipassana is a tool used to ensure that regardless of whether one enters in light or darkness, the exit is always towards the light. So by observing your sensations equanimously, balance, one stops the cycle of reacting and begins the process of moving towards the highest light, which is nibbana, enlightenment, full enlightenment. That's the goal. So I didn't learn this from church or school. I learned this by practicing vipassana, by attending the 10-day course. And I just wanted to share that because not unless you attended the course, you won't know those four types of people. But now you know.
Yeah,
Now you know.
I think yun na nga ako no. I mean since I was a volunteer in this particular lifetime, so I think I was more on the fourth type na. I came
Light to
from
light.
the
Hmm.
light, and then somehow I experienced darkness because I was lost for a time until I was able to gain back the strength to recover and move on to a higher level of consciousness again. And somehow, I think, yun na nga, like to like. Kasi since I came from the Lyran, ano na, parang I was one of them na parang nag-volunteer to come back here. So sabi ko, okay.
Mhm.
So I know where I came from, and so somehow I know where to go to back. I mean, where I'm going back to.
Yes.
So
So
that's
I want to encourage people who are watching this to um, be intentional in finding out, you
intentional
know, where you come from, what's
until
your
it's too
cosmic
late.
origin.
Yep.
Hopefully, it's not too late. That's why we're doing what we're
Oh,
doing here.
that's
This
exactly
is,
what I'm trying to say. I hope it's not too late.
it's not too
Yeah.
late. It's not too late.
The moment, I mean, the
Um,
mere fact that you're watching us, listening to us, it's not too late. So now is the time
yes,
to start.
there's still time. There's still time
Yeah. Join us.
to understand.
We will be having our regular Kamalayan Cafe session this Friday, May 8th at the Glorieta, at the Seattle's Best Coffee, ground floor Glorieta 3, Makati City at 3 p.m. So please join us if you're interested in more of learning what we had just discussed a while ago. So, so
Okay.
anything that you would want to say? Okay,
No, I think we're
thank you.
good. We passed the hour mark, so I think this is a good point to stop. We can talk uh, more, but not enough time. But
Yeah,
again, Sir Tato, thank you for your time today. And as always, there's a lot to learn and a lot to share to people who are looking for answers right now. I know there's a lot of people looking for answers right now. And
yep. Thank you
if you
also
come
for
across
inviting me again.
this, if you come across this video, it's not by accident. There's something here that you're meant to you're meant to hear. All right. So have a good rest of the week. And again, thank you for your time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.